Good evening, you wonderful people. Anybody here for the first time? Probably not. Oh, yeah, our presenters. Oh, well, welcome. You're in for a treat because you're going to see some great presentations. I'm Jennifer Shawl. I am substituting for the wonderful and much revered Lynn Nino, who is out gallivanting around the world again. I have great presentations for you tonight. I have 5 things to tell you. The first is emergencies. I'm an emergency manager, and so if you have a bathroom emergency, you can head that way if it's really an emergency, because everybody's going to see you go that way. Or you can go down the stairs, and there's a bathroom downstairs, and be more surreptitious about it. If there's a fire, you will calmly get up and walk to the nearest exit, which is that way or that way. And if there's an earthquake, what do you do if there's an earthquake? Thank you, thank you. Protect your head. Do the best you can to get one of those chairs over your head. Get down on the floor, hold on to that chair, and keep your head from flying objects and breaking glass. So that's the first thing I have to tell you. The second thing is that these presentations will be on YouTube approximately a couple of weeks after they occur. So tell your friends if they miss these events, they can always watch them on YouTube. The third thing is there's a sign-up sheet in the back as you come in the foyer. If you want to get on the mailing list, Lynn sends these out over the Tacoma Arts listserv, but you can also get them individually. The fourth thing is Erik is our wonderful technology person. We love Erik. And the fifth thing is, out of respect for our presenters and Erik and everybody, please silence your phones or put them on stun or whatever. Okay. So our first presentation tonight is about Artco Framing and Gallery, which was born from the hard work and persistence of Jennifer Moore, manager of Artco Crafts, who you will remember was around for a long time and much loved. And Jennifer, in 2022, bought the picture framing department of Artco Crafts and moved it next door because her dream was to cultivate an art gallery in Tacoma, and she molded the 2 businesses together into one. And presenting for Artco Framing and Gallery tonight is Ashley Laufer, an artist and entrepreneur who graduated with her BFA in 2014. She moved from Pennsylvania to Washington in hopes of pursuing a career in visual art. Ashley brings 10+ years creative experience and 5+ years in framing and design. She specializes in artwork / photo restoration, graphic design, digital printing, I'm exhausted already, and unique framing designs. Ashley curates Artco Gallery and helps local artists in strengthening community connections and empowering artists at any stage in their career. Please give a warm welcome to Ashley Laufer.
Hello. I honestly wasn't expecting you to read all that, so thank you for that lovely introduction.
I'm doing my job.
You're doing wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm here on behalf of Artco Framing and Gallery, which many of you may know used to be Artco Crafts. So Artco Framing and Gallery is a beautiful little picture framing establishment that also has an art gallery in the front of it. Hello? As seen. Do I? Okay. Which direction?
That's what I'm told. Do advance it.
Yep. Oh, very good. Okay. Oh, okay. Great. In the early stages of Artco, Jennifer Moore there. She is the owner of Artco and has done so many wonderful things for us. And as you may not know, our new establishment is located directly across from where the old establishment was located, in case you're familiar with Artco Crafts. A lot of people miss it, surprisingly, so I want to make sure that everyone got a good visual there. We host events. So this is a picture of us having a little event from the outside. Yes, cute. Okay, so the Artco gallery features 5 repositionable walls that, since we don't have a lot of wall space, we built these lovely platforms. We have a rotating art show that happens once a month. Yes, so it's really difficult to try and accommodate every single artist who would like to show their work with us, but we are doing our best. We are booked in the gallery space until 2026. So, thank you. Yes, that is very exciting. We've shown quite a few shows, so like I said, once a month. This actually was one of our first pop-up shows that we had, so at the end of a month, we decided to host one little mini 2-day art show, because like I said, I'm trying to fit every single person in. We've actually slowed down in applications right now, so if you're looking to have a show in 2026, now's your chance. So jump on in. We also have a 3D art display in the corner. It's a little small, but we do rotating sculpture artists there as well. This was Chuck Fitzgerald, who was our most fine art inclined sculpture artist that we've had so far. His wood carving series was called The Miracle of Birth. Again, we did an installation piece, so that's the 3D display there in the back. Very cool. These 2 artists didn't know each other. They set up the art and the install, and it was the most serendipitous collaboration I've seen so far. The walls, like I said, are repositionable. I think our largest width is 72 inches wide, and I believe they're all 7 feet tall. So we can fit quite a bit. We say 25 to 35 pieces of artwork, but I can really Tetris them in. Yeah, absolutely. Another nice 3D display that we've had here by Julia Josephine, which I guess I would call an installation piece. Dane Gregory Meyer, who's a local photographer, did a basically thesis of his life show for retiring. So in case anyone didn't know, Dane Gregory Meyer is now retired. Beautiful show. He did a portrait series. Very great. People mingling, of course. The receptions happen once a month on 3rd Thursday, which we've kept pretty consistent, typically from 4 to 6. We welcome all of you to stop by sometime and check them out. Consistency is key. Lots of nice things. We sell artwork as well in the gallery, of course. I would like to say that it's not as fast-moving as you would imagine, but we're trying our best to educate people on the value of purchasing fine art and supporting the art community in Tacoma. There's Dane Gregory Meyer there. What a lovely guy. We have solo and group shows that you can apply for. Oh, I'm going to go back one, actually. Solo or group shows. The solo show would be, of course, you as a solo artist. Groups, you can apply as a group, or we curate group shows. You can find calls on our website to apply for group shows, which 2025, there are some open. One is a black and white art only. One is a pens, pencils, and pastels medium. And then in October, we try to do a square show. We've also have hosted artists during some of our special events, like our 1-year anniversary and Small Business Saturday. This was a pop-up event that an artist put on at our establishment. We had fun with that. A Tutti Frutti art show. And then we also offer art consignment. It's small, but we're happy to host the people that we're working with. You can find our events and upcoming information on our website. We have Linda Schulberg in September. We have a dual show in October for Stephen Grice and Cole Battenberg. Hadia Finley, wonderful bronze sculpture artist, is having a show in November, and December is a student art show. You can apply to any of our calls online as well. But Artco is primarily a picture frame establishment, and that is what is really carrying our business, is the picture framing. We have so many options, custom and a smaller amount of options in ready-made stuff, but we really like to work with people and their budgets. So my coworker Carrie and I are the only 2 employees of the picture frame establishment, and we already have done some of the craziest frame jobs I have ever received in my framing career, which started in 2017. We do pretty much everything by hand. So we pin, we sew, we stretch, we tape, we glue. It's not magic. We do it all by hand. It's wonderful. We have framed quilts, fabric pieces, tiles from Europe, extra long artwork. This actually went to the Bellevue Art Museum for a local artist. Our largest picture frame job yet was this massive. I actually am so sorry that I don't remember the name of this artist's work, but this was probably the largest thing we've ever framed and I've ever framed. But we're doing a good job, just the two of us. Look at us ladies go. We're very proud of ourselves. We can pretty much frame anything, so shadow boxes, keepsakes, tiles from Scotland from vintage roofs in the woods, whole outfits from the movie Annihilation, parts from the SpaceX crash, Grateful Dead posters, fine art, quilts, bags, tapestries, other imaginable objects, extra large pieces of artwork. This was about 4 feet tall. It was a block print. It was very beautiful. It had like burned edges. It was very beautiful. I see lovely pieces of artwork come through. Open glass floats if you're feeling eccentric. Traditional canvases with liners and fillets. We can do it all. If you have a look that you like, I can make it happen. Keepsakes. Some unique stuff. Some gloves. To each their own. Well, that concludes my presentation about Artco, and I just wanted to let everyone know that we're not just a frame shop, that we are a resource and a bridge between the emerging artists and their first show, and a place for solutions and guidance. Do I stay up here for Q&A?
You do. Are there questions for Ashley? You're an artist also, aren't you?
Yes.
Are you still showing it properly?
No. It was great. Okay.
Can you be a little more specific about the address?
The address is 5401 6th Avenue, suite number 321. Yeah. It's on 6th Avenue, in the parking lot across from the Goodwill.
And Les Schwab.
And Les Schwab and Harbor Freight Tools and Tacoma Boys, they're all right there. And yeah. Sorry, I missed that part. That's my bad. That's where, yes, the location of our establishment is where the Oro Wheat bread store used to be.
That's right.
I had a guy come in asking for donuts one time, and I said, do I look like I have donuts, sir? But nice try. Any other questions?
Yeah, for a while you were accepting art materials and people could come in and trade. Are you still doing that?
Yes. So we also have, since we no longer carry craft supplies, we have a free art supply shelf where we accept donations of gently used and eccentric art supplies that we give back to the community. It's open all the time. You can bring your stuff. We also take empty picture frame donations as well. So those projects that never got done, you can always hand them over to someone who can use them.
Anyone else?
Do you take gifts?
I do take gifts. Oh, yes.
Some gold pigment.
Thank you. We had a conversation about this the other day, so I appreciate that.
I'm Arabic in water.
Thank you. I love it. How nice. All right. Well, I hope you guys, yes.
7 days a week?
No, our business hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Since it's just Carrie and I, we do close for 2 days because we can't do it all.
So what's the days again?
Tuesday through Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Yep. Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. I'm typically there, so come on by, and I'll help you with whatever you need. No donuts, no bread, no new art supplies, but whatever else you want, I got you. All right, thank you.
Was great. Okay, let's see. Is there anything I have to announce to you now? This would probably be a good time to tell you that the next show The next tripod is on, it's always the third Thursday, almost always the third Thursday of every month, September 20th, sorry, Friday of every month. Screwing up. This next show will feature Kit Burns, who will talk about Tacoma's trees, Chip Van Gilder, who will talk about bonsai and his process and his collection and how-to. And Eileen Fitz-Faulkner will show images of her concrete garden work. So put that on your calendar. Our next presenter is the Puget Sound Book Artists, also known as PSBA, which was founded in 2010. It's a nonprofit 501c3 educational organization comprised of amateurs and professionals that create a spirit of community among book artists and those who love books. PSBA strives to increase educational opportunities for individuals as well as organizations, fostering excellence through exhibitions, workshops, lectures, and community outreach. And our presenters for PSBA are Lucia Harrison and Dorothy McCuistion. Dorothy will present PSBA member images and discuss the nature of an artist's book. Lucia is faculty emeritus from the Evergreen State College, is an artist, and coordinates PSBA outreach. And Dorothy will tell you all about herself. Please give a warm welcome to Lucia and Dorothy.
Okay, let's see. Whoa, do you want me to be on that side?
No, you're fine.
Can you hear us? Yeah.
Bring the mic down just a little bit.
Is that better? Okay. I'm Lucia Harrison,
Dorothy McCuistion.
and we are both members of the Puget Sound Book Artists, and we both served on the board over the years. And we're here tonight to give you a brief description of our organization and talk about what is an artist's book anyway, and what are the decisions that book artists have to make to create a book. So we'll get started. Let's see. Oh, that's not the right image. That's backwards.
What happened?
Push the other button.
Oh my gosh, we're way off.
Oh, now you're seeing a preview. Oh, that's back, oh, I get it, it's a circle. Sorry.
Oh
Oh,
man, we're way off track.
there we go. Oh, that's the last slide, okay. They're actually backwards. How about if I just go back, sorry. Yeah, now you're
We're
whetting
done.
your appetite.
There we go.
There.
Yeah.
The first slide and the last slide are the same, so that's why it's confusing. So,
There we go.
okay, so Puget Sound Book Artist was started in 2010 by Jane Carlin, who is now the retired director of the University of Puget Sound Collins Library, and Rochelle Monner, who's a really strong advocate and book artist. Rochelle and her friend Lynn had a small group based here in Tacoma that was dedicated to book artists. And they all went to Waysgoose, Jane and Rochelle and Lynn, and they met in 2010, and then they issued a call to all Tacoma and Puget Sound bibliophiles and artists to discuss the formation of a local book arts group. And 40 people showed up. Printers, fine binders, book artists, calligraphers, painters, letterpress printers, paper makers. The room was full. And of those who came, 25 signed up to create the organization. We in the introduction, mentioned a few things about what our goals are. And, oops, the wrong way, sorry. We want to build a spirit of community among book artists and those who love books. One of the best things about us is we're open to everyone, from beginners to fine binders. So this is a book called Pangolin Pandemic by Gabby Cooksey, who's a fine binder here in Tacoma. And that's not the right slide. Oh, well. And we also, I was going to show you the amateur slide, but anyway, we also do a lot of community outreach events and provide educational opportunities through workshops, lectures, etc. Since the beginning, we have grown to 213 members who live all across Puget Sound, from Port Angeles and Bellingham to Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, and Centralia. And 44 members live out of state. Dorothy?
So one of the really important things we do is provide workshops for our members. And we also have, they are also available to non-members if there is space. This is a picture of Catherine, one of our members, at a marbling workshop that was held this summer. And then the next slide, another picture of the workshop. We often do our workshops at Becky Frey's studio. She is generous enough to rent that space to us. Here's another picture of a botanical print workshop. And there's another picture.
That's Dorothy, by the way.
Yeah, obviously. Showing the botanical print, dyed prints afterwards. And in this workshop, which was a 2-day workshop, the following day we made 4 different books using the paper that we dyed. So that's the next slide.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
it's
seems
not
to be
what happened?
skipping
Okay.
an image every time, once
Okay.
in a while.
All right.
So one of the main things that we do is we teach people how to curate exhibits, and we have an annual members exhibit, which is curated by members who volunteer. It's an all-volunteer organization. And through this process, they learn how to curate exhibits and then can create their own spin-off exhibits as well. So this year, our theme was time travel, and the exhibit was up at the University of Puget Sound for the summer, and it's moving to the Evergreen State College Library and will open at the end of September through the fall quarter. Here's an image of the opening of that exhibit. And because we learn to curate exhibits, we often have spin-off exhibits. So, and this one was at the Miller Botanical Library. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a horticultural library. It's on the UW campus in Seattle. It's part of the Center for Urban Horticulture. It's a really great place, wonderful archives, and they have artist shows every month in that space. And so this is Deborah Greenwood, Carletta Carrington-Wilson, and Lou Cabine at the Miller Library exhibit.
We also have panel discussions and lectures, and at this time they're almost entirely on Zoom, but once in a while they're in person, like in this picture. This was pre-pandemic. This is a panel discussion organized by Malpina Chan in conjunction with The Page and Beyond, an exhibit that she curated at a gallery in Seattle. And as I mentioned, with COVID, we moved a lot of our activities, almost everything for a while, to Zoom, and which actually turned out to be kind of a lifeline for us. This enlarged our geographical reach. It increased our ability to engage speakers from all over the world, and in general, really grew our organization in ways we didn't anticipate. Today, Jane Carlin hosts 6 one-hour lunchtime Zoom conversations with artists every year. So those Zoom meetings have continued.
And that's open to the public.
We also foster collaborative projects. This is a group, the Alchemy Group, which grew out of a writing workshop. Here are 3 members making a print, and we took those prints and we tore them up and to squares and traded them around with each other, and each of us made a book, and we also made a book together. And actually, we had an exhibit called Collaboration, and that book went into that exhibit. During the pandemic, we also did collaborative work with other arts organizations. This was a postcard from a project that we did with 8 other book arts organizations from around the country. They all participated in the Wish You Were Here postcard exchange project, which was coordinated by our member Laurel Moorhead, who lives in San Diego. This card here was made by Jan Dove, one of our members. And this is a card that I made, which was a print inviting people to Tacoma, which shows our view of Mount Rainier and the word Tacoma in Lachute seed. Each participant took their 16 postcards and bound them into a book. Both my book and Lucia's book is up here afterwards. If you'd like to come and look at some of the examples of book arts, you can pick them up and touch them.
So one of the things we try to do is provide informal opportunities for people to share in small groups the work that they're working on and to encourage each other. We have small groups that are meeting in Bellingham. Another group meets in Sequim. We have a group meeting here in Pierce County and one in Olympia. So these are like monthly meetups. And this picture is of a meetup last week here in Tacoma, where Gabby Cooksey, Kim Eisenman, Nancy Brones are watching Jan Ward display and wear her latest artist book in the form of a sash. This is one of the problems with exhibiting artist books is that they're usually behind glass. And so during our exhibitions, we often have an open case event where people can actually take a look at the books inside, and they can learn from the artist what the book is about. So here's Belinda Hill, our treasurer, showing her book, We Are All Time Travelers. In Puget Sound Book Artists, we all make new friends. I think almost all my friends in Tacoma are from PSBA, I must say. And so we're always asked to share techniques. And here we have Deborah Greenwood, who's in our audience, showing Mark Hopman some new ways of making paper.
We also have an annual book exchange where artists who sign up can exchange books with one another. And here's a few from last year's exchange, which was, the theme was secrets. This is Bonnie Julian's Secrets, which was made with a 4 undercover binding. And even I don't know what that is. This is Mari Gower's book, which is a Chinese sewing kit.
So, and Dorothy made a really terrific book for the book exchange about family secrets.
Yeah.
And how we don't share them over time in the shape of a house. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So some people often ask us,
Excellent, yeah.
People ask us, what is an artist book anyway? And if some people say, well, if the artist says it's a book, then it's an artist book. The definition I like is that it's an interactive work of art in the form of a book or inspired by the idea of a book. They're interactive in that they invite participation in interaction, physical interaction with the materials on the part of the viewer. And you can get excited to see about how they've incorporated their concept into the structure, the text, the images, and the materials. So in a regular book, it has a cover, front cover and back cover, and an inside. And usually the cover's protecting the book, but it doesn't really, the covers don't really have anything to do with what's inside, what the text is about. In an artist book, the artist has control over every part of the design so that they can really bring forward their concept. We thought we'd talk a little bit about the decisions that book artists have to make in creating an artist book. And I think it's important to say that any one of these elements can lead the inspiration. So the first one I'll talk about is the concept. What is the concept that you're trying to communicate? It doesn't have to come first, it might come last after you've experimented with materials. This is a work by John Arbuckle, who's a collage artist from Seattle, and he loves to collect little things to put in his collages. And notice that crows do the same thing. And so it's called Crow's Compendium, a collection of found objects. This is a work by Jan Dove. She's an artist from Port Angeles. She's very concerned about how climate change will affect native trees. The title of this work that's in a little suitcase is called Don't Go. She says, I'm living in a time when even trees must travel to find a place to survive. Next one is by Esther Irvin, a Seattle artist. It's called Bus Number 4311 Impacts a Skate Park. And it's about a bus accident that destroyed a skate park for kids who don't really have any other place to play. And it's a call for people to do something about it. Dorothy?
Another decision artists make is about the structure. And book artists are particularly big on structure. So this is how the book is held together or moves. And in the best case scenario, the structure will support the concept. This is a book by Kat Gower titled Drifting, Shifting, Place and Time, which explores the continental drift theory to show how scientific theory evolves. This is Judy Cook's book, Frosting Frenzy, A Home Economics Memory. This is a really, really funny book. So she used pop-ups in this book to explore her most embarrassing high school memory. This is an ice cream cone textile created by Lynn and Jean Olson. The text is a poem exploring the many choices of ice cream flavors. And to read the text, you have to turn the cone in your hand like you're eating an ice cream cone. Another decision is about scale. How large or small should the work be? And how does that relate to your content? Do you want the viewer to have an intimate experience, or is the concept massive in scale? So here's a miniature book that I made titled Antics, which is about an ant infestation in our house. And so this little tiny book with little ants in it. As you page through the book, there are more and more ants.
And then the ant killers at the end, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
But that did happen. And this shows Lucia with her book titled Ancient Forests of Frying Pan Creek. It consists of 250 handmade paper discs that explore the layers of soil to reveal buried forests at Mount Rainier. Here is Sarah Horowitz making the book called Timeline. It's a series of large-scale drawings in the North Cascades. She combined these drawings into an accordion book, and when it opens, it is about 12 feet long. It's huge for a book.
That's a detail from it.
Yeah. Lucia? Yeah.
Oh, next, okay.
Yeah.
So once we've thought about these issues, we need to think about content. And the content in that, we're saying the things like the words, which words are you going to use, are you going to use words, what images, what shapes are going to be used in the book. So this work is by Suzanne Moore, who's a well-known, internationally known calligrapher. It's called Infinite Time, and it's a monoprint with hand lettering and tooling. It was inspired by a 50 BCE poem by Lucretius called On the Nature of Things. And the part that she's exploring in this work describes the dance and timeless nature of atoms. This next work is by Jessica Spring, also a well-known letterpress printer and book artist extraordinaire here in Tacoma. It's called Tencel, and this was a collaboration with a scientist named Dr. Alice Damaris as part of a Science Stories project that was an outgrowth of Puget Sound Book Artists. And basically we paired, I think there were 19 artists and 19 scientists from UPS and the Evergreen State College and UW. And the scientists talked to the artists about their work, and that was the inspiration for the artist's book. So in this work, she's contrasting our love affair with plastic, with a scientific study about how plastic affects egg development in invertebrates like us. The text is a seductive Shelley poem, the larger text. The smaller text is a scientific study, And the prints are all made from plastic items that we use every day. So I think on the left, you can see it's made from those bread, you know, those clips that go on the end of bread. She ran those through her letterpress print, letterpress, excuse me. Not what I was expecting. That goes with materials. Well,
Yeah, do you want to go?
maybe we should talk about materials.
What happened? Is it the next one? No.
Nope, it's just missing.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so one of the big choices that we have to make is to figure out what materials to use in creating an artist book. And so this is a work by Suze Wolf. She's a Seattle-based artist, and she has a series of, I think it's up to 50 now, artist books about bark beetle infestations. Because of climate change, they're able to reproduce several times during the season, and they are killing large forests. So this one is called Resource Competition, and it's part of her series. And she writes, both bark beetles and humans like to make their homes out of trees. So in some sense, we are competing for the same resource. So the top front cover, you can see, is a chewed up branch that was chewed up by a bark beetle. And the back cover is a piece of milled lumber. This is a work by Malpina Chan. It's called Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. The materials she used were images of cancer cells and chemotherapy chemistry, human hair, and a hair receiver. She writes, my oncologist informed me that I would be losing my hair. Even though I knew this would occur, it was still a shock when it actually happened. I had to shave my head. It was traumatic. I decided to save my hair. So that is her own hair in the artist's book, and it's inside of a hair receiver, which was used in the 19th century. Remember when women had those big bouffant hairdos? Well, how did they stand up like that? Because they collected their hair, and then they put the mats underneath to hold up those big hairdos. Anyway. Dorothy.
Yeah, another decision artists make is about housing. This is a book by Mark Hopman, and it's inspired by Tahoma and Its People, a book written by Jeff Antonellis Lapp. It's called A Tacoma Reliquary, which was inspired by the archaeological work and excavations made on present-day Mount Rainier. It's of the encampments made by native peoples beginning 9,000 years ago. And you can sort of see it, but in person, it's a very much 3D Mount Rainier sculpture on the top of this book. This is a book by Abby Birmingham titled The Scablands, Stories from the High Desert, which explores the dramatic geology carved by Ice Age floods in eastern Washington. It cascades out of its box, just like a flood. This is Khaki Shields, a book titled Memoir, which is composed of many collage letters and ephemera saved over the years and organized by time, person, and theme. All the boxes stack inside of each other and finish up into one single box. And we're finishing with Jan Dove's Wish You Were Here project. She created a miniature mailbox to house her postcards. All right. Thank you very much for listening and to our presentations.
We did bring brochures, which will be available up here on the piano after the presentations tonight if you're interested in learning more.
Yeah.
We are encouraged to use, thank you. We're encouraged to use the microphone because this is being recorded for YouTube.
I was just wondering where the show is right now that was at UPS.
The show is traveling to the Evergreen State College and will be installed and open on the 26th of September, and it will be open until the 13th of December. It's good, they are closed on Saturdays, the library at Evergreen, so it's in the Evans Library. And on Sunday, it's free parking at Evergreen, so that's a good day to go, and the library's open.
Other questions? Thank you, for this was tremendous, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, for our last presentation tonight, we're going to hear from FABLAB. For nearly 6 years, the FABLAB nonprofit has been delivering STEAM education in Tacoma and Pierce County. What does STEAM stand for, you ask? STEAM, S-T-E-A-M, education is an approach to learning that uses science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics as access points for guiding student inquiry, dialogue, and critical thinking. FABLAB delivers hands-on experiences in coding, electronics, 2D and 3D design, 3D printing, drone operation, robotics, CNC machinery, I'm not sure what that is, and direct-to-garment printing alongside traditional arts such as drawing, painting, and sculpting. FABLAB blends science and technology with art, culture, and heritage to nurture curiosity, creativity, and communication. Our presenters tonight are Anita Grace Sato and Renee Healy. Please give them a warm welcome.
Hi, I'm Anita, and this is Renee. I don't present a lot, and I tend to be really a nervous and rambling presenter, so I'll try to do my best. Yes, they'll be like, okay, Anita, move on. So we do FABLAB, so we kind of share a space. I'll get into that a little bit more, but FABLAB started actually in 2018, the nonprofit side. I'm thinking people might be familiar with FABLAB, the makerspace that was by UW-T, and we used to share a space with them, so we would sublease, and we did education, and then we were able to use all of their machinery, and they had a full wood shop and a full metal shop, which was great, and we could do with kids. And then this is when we were at their space. I was trying to tell Yvette that yes, you can make magnetic slime. It is possible. And she was like, I don't think so. During COVID, FABLAB, the makerspace, had some financial difficulties, and they also were in the process of building a man-sized drone to fly for a competition. So they were taking up more and more space, and then for our kids' programs, we were getting less and less space. And so they moved into a huge warehouse. The UW, we just couldn't afford to stay there. We wanted to stay really bad, and we would have had access to all the machinery, but the rent was just too prohibitive. So we moved to the Lincoln District. So we moved to where Manic Mermaid used to be, up on 38th Street. So we're just kind of in between. We're right next to Viet Kitchen, and then we're kind of like a little bit down the street from Viet Dong on 38th Street, which has been a lot of fun. A lot of what we do is children's education. We're not a maker space anymore. There used to be Creation Station that was in Tacoma. They also closed, but we're in contact with the library, which is going to be awesome. So the main library downtown will have a maker space. So we do just education. We don't really do maker space stuff because everybody works full time. So we just kind of go in to do the education piece. We don't have somebody there always be able to do. makerspacey stuff, but this is, what we do is a lot with kids is 3D printing. So this is an example of some of a couple 3D prints from an after-school program, and the kids are so excited when they do 3D printing, because they design it. We do Tinkercad, which is a free program, and so they design it there, and then we'll print it out at FABLAB and bring it to them the next session, and they just are so excited. And we do it all in white, so that and then we bring materials for them to be able to decorate whatever they create, so that it can kind of mesh things, because I think a lot of times what we're noticing is that youth can do digital tech stuff, but their hands-on skills just aren't quite there. And so we try to bring as much hands-on stuff also as we can. So when we moved into Manic Mermaid, it was right at the end of COVID. We had to leave the space at UW. We were in a little tiny co-working space that they let us use for a little bit. And so we moved into Manic Mermaid, I think Renee went on Friday, and then we had to start camps the next Monday. So because Manic Mermaid had all the foam mats, because they had so many gems, that we had to remove it. And we were just thinking, oh, this will be an easy lift. This will be no problem. Yeah, no, it was awful. It was so awful. And so we spent and drug everybody in. Poor Renee, we were there till 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 days in a row, getting this ready for camps to start. But we were able to kind of get the space. Yes, yes, exactly. Masks, we just thought a mask works for anything. So we got the space kind of set up. It's always changing. Renee was wonderful when we were looking at the space. The nonprofit itself couldn't afford the space on its own, so Renee brings in 38th Creates, so we kind of share the space and do things a lot together. Mostly what we do is youth education, so this is from our summer camps, and it has one of Renee's pieces on the back, which is really cool. And the kids just love it. They love having... It's so amazing because the kids love their tech stuff, but they also love art. And so much of it goes together, because if you don't have good design, your tech is just kind of, not enjoyable. We have 3D printers. We were able to keep the 3D printer from the original FABLAB. So what we do is we have kids come in, it's also, because it's a fire hazard, we also have, teach them about how to put things out with a fire extinguisher. But kids come in and they design their own kind of art piece. It's going to be 2D, and then they print it out and color it, and they just love it. They just love it because they get to watch it cut and do it, and then they color it and have their own pieces to take home and just have a super fun time. We do camps, classes, workshops. We do 3D printing and laser a lot for kids, and we for coding, what we started doing, which works out really nice, is a program called EarSketch. So it's using a DAW, it's a digital audio workshop sort of thing, where kids can learn how to code, and they're creating music at the same time. So it makes it much more engaging. It's kids creating things. We always have to have in our 3D printing stuff an egg drop. So what they do is they use the program to design a capsule for the egg, and then we have like a 14-foot ladder and climb up, and then we drop it, and they love the competition. Just love that. And that's more of our classes. A lot of our classes and camps are theme-based. So every December for our winter camp, we do it as Japanese New Year, and it's yokai, based on Japanese yokai. And so the kids have 3D masks that they paint themselves, and then they also design a yokai shirt that we print with the direct-to-substrate printer. And it's kind of cool because everything is their design, and then they're able to print it out and then take it, and just love it. This was our music camp where they made, poor Renee, because she was there when we put the electrical stuff, so they made electric 3D.
It's just so interesting. I mean, do you guys get it? Do you guys get this stuff? Because I had no idea, and I'm there. And no idea what she was talking about, DAW. I just figured out what CAD was last year.
It's fun. It's a lot. So mostly what I do is I'm the gopher and just kind of say like, oh guys, wouldn't it be fun if we did this? And then make the instructors' lives miserable. But we did a 3-string.
A diddly bow.
Yeah, so it's a 3-string cigar box guitar that we decided to make electric. So the kids designed it, and they love painting them. It's so fun. Like, they paint them, they get them all going, and then the last day they're with their sliders, and so we get little amps for them, and it's so loud and crazy, but they have such a good time. And so Renee has her things on every Wednesday, and the thing that's awesome is that, I know Renee knows that I get stressed, but everybody, it works out just fine, is that we keep camps going even when the older adults come, and everybody just kind of mingles together and just kind of has to do it all together. This was a partnership that we do. There's a Northwest Pinball and Arcade show, and we go and we have a booth there and kind of do some techie stuff, 3D printing mostly. But what we do is we do a pinball camp. And the thing that's awesome about pinball is that it includes art, because, and you have to tell story. So it includes storytelling skills, art skills. They have to do some electronics and build outs. And they just come up with their own designs and just make super cool stuff. And what turned out awesome is that we now have a pinball machine from the Pinball and Arcade show. So when the kids come for camps, it's like the most popular thing, is that they can play on a 1971 pinball machine. And because it's older, the board, I got the name wrong, is painted. And so it has so they are able to see okay, you have art, and then pinball has to tell a story, and then you have the science with it, and the math, and everything has to go together. And it just makes it so much more engaging. Another shot of our camp stuff, and you can see Renee. So Renee is wonderful with us taking over space, and she just moves her art higher while we have stuff. We also do an after-school program where we teach soldering, and this was this young man's first time soldering, and he made a bubble blower, super cool. More soldering. So one of the things with our engineering club is that they did a project on Afrofuturism and 3D printing, and we were at the opening for the Ruth Carter exhibit at MOOP, and our students were able to meet Ruth Carter. And for one of our students, I won't talk about it. He was there for his birthday, and then he passed, but it was.
You guys know who Ruth Carter is?
She won Oscar for
Black Panther.
for the costume design. So she met with the kids and talked with them about it, and it was super special for the kids.
They invited
Us.
Anita.
Yeah.
Because of FABLAB. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really
It was super
amazing.
awesome. And she critiqued their work, and so have it critiqued by an Oscar winner, and she was so kind. It was just amazing. It was so impactful for the kids and for the family. We were able to get free passes for the families to go to the show, and so it was cool. This is some of the stuff that the kids like to design, and this is after-school programs. We also do stuff for adults. This is just a laser Christmas camp thing for Christmas class for adults. And Renee has no clue that this is coming up, but here's your spot. So Renee does art experiences for older adults and anybody, really.
Mama, hi Mama, look at you right there. It's called Senior Moments.
Microphone.
We have a class that we used to have called Senior Moments. Now we have Women at Play. And so that was George and Mama doing the Senior Moments class, and they ended up having a show together at the Catholic Community Services right there on Yakima. And George passed shortly after that. He had a broken back and no one knew it. So a lot of times when we're creating, if I just leave them alone, they're fine. When I try to control everything and go, oh, that'd be color, it just screws everything up. So I have learned, it's been a great learning lesson for me to be able to release and walk away from people creating. What a concept. So, right?
This is one of our artists who was doing the Ukrainian sunflower during the Ukrainian. And that's Mom with, I left her alone. Yeah, and that was just last week, just last Wednesday. We have every Wednesday, 12:30 to 2:30. And right now we're making Japanese garden aprons out of draperies and found items and, different, what is that called when it goes over your tablecloths? And then little, shower curtains with the little things. I mean, it's just anything. You can make these Japanese garden aprons. So, and then we're going to do we brought some of the stuff for the light trail. We're going to make lights, and so that one will be a jellyfish. And I brought it back there. So we just, every Wednesday, and I try to go in every other Saturday. This is the art bus.
This is closer to what it looks like now. It's always changing because I have an obsession with equipment and working too much, and so I will.
She's too successful, and she's outgrown her space, is the problem.
We have a lot of equipment, but it's so cool. But we have a lot of equipment. Oh,
She's
sorry.
too successful.
We have a lot of equipment, but it's too cool. It's too cool. So we also do events. So this is the Lincoln District Trick or Treat, and what all those oranges are connected to a computer, and so whenever the kids touch the orange, it completes a circuit, and it made a sound, and so that was a lot of fun. TAT, I don't know how many people have been able to go to TAT up in the Lincoln District? It's so cool, and so we do some of the decorations for TAT. Julia, again, was painting outside of TAT for Year of the Lion. This is the lion dancers coming in to the space. TAT is so fun. It's so fun. We do Japanese New Year's decorations for Easter. Julia was doing the balloon animals for kids. They just loved that. And then this is again from TAT. So every time there's an event, we look at doing something hands-on for the community so they can have a make and take. This one was making TAT Lunar New Year little just kind of prints that they could do. So what happens is that instructors will laser cut prints or laser cut stamps, and then we have printing machines, and then not printing machines, just the whatever that's called, print thing. And then
it's late, isn't it?
And then lots of stuff with families. This was families doing. They make a maze, and we have like these little robots that are spheres, and so the kids work at.
Talk to them.
Kids work at doing that. This was also at the pinball machine and arcade show, so we had stamps for there, and then we also had a video game that was managed by Fruit. And another thing that we do is fabrication for other nonprofits. So if you see the Tacoma Film Festival Awards, I think we've done those for the last 8 years. And so Lisa designs and fabricates those. For the light trail, we laser cut. We took artist's work and then laser cut it so that it could go up in the windows for the light trail. And that was a lot of work. A big project that we did, that looks kind of weird, but then when you see it, so that's a 3D design and 3D printed. There was a intern at the Museum of Glass, and she was looking at how can we make glass pieces more accessible to people with visual difficulties. So what we did was we went to the Museum of Glass. Our scanner wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, so we took, I think 200 pictures of that vessel, and then one of our instructors who's now at Cal Poly, he 3D recreated the whole vessel in a 3D model, and we 3D printed it so that it's touchable, and people can actually feel what the work is like. That actually took a month and a half to design, and then another month to print and put together. So 3D printing's slow. It's super, super slow. And then this last one is just the kids. That's what they have fun. They always do like a together project and then in addition to the individual projects. But yeah, that's kind of what we do. It's a lot of fun. A lot of classes, a lot of fun. That's us. Thank you.
Here's one of the, this will be a jellyfish.
A what?
Jellyfish.
Oh, for the light trail.
Right.
Oh,
And
that's
then-
wonderful.
And then I have a bunch of mattress springs that I'll paint and have it be the,
Oh, that's great.
I just thought of that one an hour ago, mattress springs. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You turn the mic on?
I think he turns it off so it won't squeal.
I was just curious how it's funded. I know she addressed that a little bit at the beginning, but I'm just.
So a lot, so we're grant funded mostly through Tacoma Creates. And then everybody works full-time, so most of the funds are able to go to, materials and rent. And a lot of the machinery is donated for use of the students, so yeah, grant funded. And we don't, our classes, especially for youth, are free to City of Tacoma youth. And then we do a lot of sliding scales, so a lot of our stuff is free for people.
And for adults?
That's
For
cool.
adults, yes, we do, Renee has her art class on, Renee has her art class on Wednesdays, and then we do laser and 3D printing, and those ones are charges, but there's, if it's a hardship, we're not gonna say, oh, you can't come because you can't do $35, where it's gonna be, whatever helps people out and they enjoy doing, yeah, it's all good.
I just want people to show up, so I don't care what you pay. Because there's so much fun to do, and we have millions of lives. It's just insane.
So I took a class there and on a Saturday, watercoloring.
Yeah.
So how did that link to this?
You're talking about just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and.
Sometimes other artists will use our space. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's for the recording.
Sorry. Sometimes other artists use our space for their programs. So we have that available for people also because we're not always there. And so if people are needing a space to do a class, or especially what I've talked with other people that are wanting to do nonprofits and they're wanting to do project-based nonprofits, I said just come and use our space and give it a try and see how it works for you and do it. So other artists do use our space.
That was Ina.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, and so, she taught watercolor, that was great. And I'm always looking for people to teach. It's kind of hard to find people to teach. So there you go. What's that piece? That is going to be part of the light trail. I'm putting that over some chicken wire. And then put a light in the middle of it. Yeah, so I'm trying to find time. So I haul it around in the back of the truck. Right? That's what you do. You just haul your stuff around and hope you have 3 minutes to put some dye on it. Right? I mean, it's true, especially when you have a fabulous mama like this who supported art throughout your life.
Thank you for that.
Right? Yeah. And so you just give back. You give back, don't you, Mama? Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Thank you Thank you for attending this. I now return you to your normal programming. Lynn will be back next month, September 20th. Put it on your calendar. Have a great evening.